And what is going on, Devils fans? It is, as always, your host, your best friend, your confidant, your number one source, Neil Villapiano, and welcome to another edition of the Devil's State of Mind podcast, right here on the Hockey Podcast Network, as well as Sports Wire Radio, the best place to get everything you need to know about your certainly struggling New Jersey Devils. And as always, guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this episode and all the content that I put out there. You guys know that I really, really do appreciate it. And I thank everybody who got a chance to check out my New Year's Eve episode that came out last week. And this is my first official episode of 2025, the first of many episodes coming up in this brand new calendar year. Really looking forward to this year. I think it's going to be a big year for not just the podcast, but for the New Jersey Devils. And again, if you haven't already, make sure to go give us a follow on social. Devil State of Mind over on Facebook, Devil State of Mind at Devil State of Mind on Instagram, and at Devil State over on Twitter. And shout out to all of our sponsors down below. We got DraftKings Sportsbook. Use promo code THPN. Bet $5. And if your bet wins, you get $150 in risk-free bet money, which is awesome. And also shout out to Game Time, one of the best ticketing apps out there, arguably the best ticketing app out there. And when you sign up, use our promo code THPN at checkout to get $20 off your first purchase. They do the best job of finding you the greatest seats out there for the game or concert event of your choosing. And also shout out to our friends over at Tom's River Brewing, the official sponsor and another official sponsor of the Devil's State of Mind podcast. And speaking of Tom's River Brewing, by the time you guys check out this episode, I will have begun our Tom's River Brewing Devil's State of Mind giveaway. That's correct. It'll be over on our Instagram page. I will leave a link for it in the description below here on YouTube. And obviously, you can check it out on all of our socials. But we are giving away a signed Jesper Bratt picture, as well as a really cool beanie and cute stick toss ornament, courtesy of Tom's River Brewing. And all you'll have to do is like the Instagram post, both follow the Devil State of Mind podcast and Tom's River Brewing, and tag one friend in the comment. And you get an extra entry if you share on your Instagram story. So make sure you guys go and enter that giveaway. It ends on Friday of this week, the 10th. So make sure you guys get your entries in ASAP. So thank you to Tom's River Brewing for helping sponsor the Devil State of Mind podcast and this giveaway. And thank you to all of our sponsors here on this podcast. Yeah, it hasn't been at all what any of us expected when we began this road trip. When the last time you guys heard me, the Devils were coming off that frustrating loss on the second half of a back-to-back to the Carolina Hurricanes. And later that night, the Devils were going to take on the Anaheim Ducks. And we all know how things did not go their way. Following night, things again didn't go their way. And yeah, it has not been at all of a good road trip, certainly on the West Coast part of it for this Devils team. Got one more coming up tonight against the Seattle Kraken, and we'll dive into all of that in just a little bit. We also got some news coming out involving a couple, well, now one former New Jersey Devil and currently one player on the bottom six who looks like he'll be out for quite some time. And then we're going to quickly recap this year's World Juniors Championship Tournament in Ottawa. So, as always, Devils fans, we have a bunch to get to here on the Devil's State of Mind podcast. So let's not waste any more time and get rolling. And we will get rolling and drop the puck with talking about our, talking about the West Coast Swoons, as you can tell from the title of this episode. Yeah, the Devils road trip, specifically the West Coast part of it, has just been really, really bad, as the Devils have lost 4 in a row for the first time this year. So it's pretty frustrating how the Devils have been able to get to 3 games in a row, a 3-game winning streak, but can't get beyond that, yet they are able to get to 4 losses in a row. And to top it all off, not getting any points in any of these games also is not great. We start with, the New Year's Eve game against the Ducks. Devils went down 2-0, came back and tied it, but ultimately gave up a late goal to drop that one in regulation 3-2. And then the following day, New Year's Day, the Devils dropped Another one, this time to the Los Angeles Kings. The Devils look to have appeared to have tied the game on a Timo Meyer goal, but they ended up calling goalie interference on Stefan Nason. It really wasn't goaltender interference, to be very blunt with you guys. It was a very, very ticky-tack goal. And Stefan Nason, even after the game, when he spoke to the media, said, I don't even know what the hell goaltender interference is anymore. I'm tired of trying to figure it out. It makes no sense. And that ended up being the deciding factor. The Kings would get another goal later on in that game by Quentin Byfield, and then they would get an empty netter. And the Devils were shut out for a league-leading sixth time this season. So the Devils getting shut out continues to be somewhat of an issue, not ideal. And hopefully there aren't too many shutouts against the Devils in the near future here. And then you have the game on Saturday night or Saturday afternoon. It was a 4 o'clock p.m. start time against the San Jose Sharks. And going into this game, I really felt that the Devils were going to turn the ship around. I felt that this was a get right game. This was an opportunity to come in and get some momentum. And also, you're looking to avenge yourself from getting shut out a few months back by this same San Jose Sharks team. And, look, Mackenzie Blackwood was not in net. He's obviously off now in Colorado, but the Sharks went with Yaroslav Askarov in this one. And look, again, the Devils, they didn't play great, to be honest. There were a lot of times where, again, the defense was leaky. They were putting up a lot of shots, but again, it seemed like they were getting quote unquote goalied. And, the Sharks scored the first goal, Devils responded. Sharks score the next goal, Devils responded. So it's 2-2 very late with just seconds remaining, really, like less than a minute to go in the period. Devils desperately trying to clear it out. Luke Hughes tries to fire a shot off the boards and out. It ends up hitting the ref. Alex Wenberg of the San Jose Sharks picks it up, gets it top of the point to Cody Ceci. And Cody Ceci is able to beat Jacob Markstrom with about 32 seconds left to give the Sharks the lead. And the Sharks would go on to win that game 3-2. And that was the most animated I have seen Jacob Markstrom all year. He was pissed. He was pissed as he was slamming his stick against the boards as he was walking off the ice, slammed it on the ground as he came off the ice. He was clearly upset. And you could say that he was upset that he gave up that goal. He was probably also upset that the team once again really didn't back him up. And when it was all said and done, the Devils now are staring at a 4-game losing streak heading in to this game tonight, later tonight, against the Seattle Kraken. So the Devils look to try to salvage one of the several games on this West Coast road trip. This is the second to last game on the road trip as well. The Devils will be off after this until Thursday when they're back in the area, but they'll be across the Hudson River at Madison Square Garden for their third matchup of the year against the New York Rangers. And the Devils will look to try to clinch the season series win against the Rangers team, who continues to have their own struggles. But going back to the Devils, yeah, this has been it's been a really, really frustrating period. And I understand fans want to start, freaking out, looking at Frank the Tank specifically, and thinking that the Devils are just going to completely drop off the table and everything's going to fall apart. I want to give people a bit of, calmness, a little bit of zen to this. The Devils are still top 5 in the National Hockey League overall. They still have one of the better offenses, one of the better overall teams, and teams in the NHL go through this all the time. And the biggest example I can give you involving the Devils was just 2 years ago. In December of 2022, the Devils, in that historic year where they got well over 100 points, finished top 3 in the league, had a 6-game losing streak. And we're fine. We're absolutely fine. And the Devils are only on a 4-game losing streak right now. Hopefully it doesn't get to 5 with the game against Seattle tonight. But my point is that there is absolutely no time to panic. There is none. The Devils are going to go through ups and downs. Nobody goes 82-0. Nobody is perfect. And every game is an opportunity for this team to learn and also to gel together as a unit. And Sheldon Keefe spoke about it yesterday at practice that this practice and just getting these guys to, take a little bit more of a look in the mirror just to give them a chance to just take a break, take a deep breath, realize that it's been a struggle to get back to the level that they were playing at prior to the holiday break, and that they're going to figure it out. This team is too good, and they have too much invested for them to be on this long of a losing streak. They'll turn it around. I have full confidence that they will. Whether it's tonight, whether it's Thursday, who knows? They will turn it around and they will get going again. I promise you that. And I look at it and I say, I have belief in Sheldon Keefe, and I certainly have belief in Tom Fitzgerald that they're going to do right by this team. And the guys are going to figure it out. They're going to come together. This is going to make them only stronger. And when they face this type of adversity, it's going to be much more beneficial once they're in the playoffs, because if they go through some struggles like this, they could say, "Hey, look, guys, we've been here before. We know exactly what we have to do. There's no time to panic. We got this. We have to do a little bit here, a little bit there, depending on what you're looking at. We will be fine." That's the way you have to look at it. You just have to take a deep breath, realize that you're a couple of bounces here or there from probably getting a better result in some of these games, and you go from there. And it starts with, you got to get the first goal. You got to get the first goal, get the momentum on your side. You got to get back to playing a better structured defense, not over pursuing the puck. You got to get back and just find a way to block more shots. Be physical, set the tone right away. This is a Seattle team that can be sporadic at times. This is a good team to get going. And especially with the news that Joey Decord is going to be on IR. So the Devils will face Philip Grubauer yet again. The Devils need to be peppering him with shots because he has struggled big time this year. This is a really good opportunity to get going and finish the West Coast part of this road trip on a high note. So you can go into the game on Thursday against the Rangers and get your business done, and then get ready for the Lightning at home on Saturday. This is a really good week for them to get going. And who knows, by the end of this week, they might have won 3 in a row. And then we'll have to hope to God that they end up winning that 4th in a row. Who knows? But I still believe very much in this team. And look, I've talked about the bottom 6 scoring before. And yes, it has not gotten any better. As the games go on, as the weeks go on, it's frustrating. And I saw this on Twitter. The bottom 6 of the Devils have combined for 9 points since December 1st. That's well over a month ago. 6 of those points have belonged to Dawson Mercer, while the other 3 have been courtesy of Paul Cotter. Meaning that the rest of the guys on this team, on the bottom 6, have combined for 0 points in a combined 60 games and 643 plus minutes of hockey. That is a huge concern. And I thought earlier this year when we talked about this team that there was depth scoring, that we had solved the issue. Clearly, it was a combination of just a little bit of luck, but also a really good start by the team. The Devils still have some work to do on the bottom 6. And I know that Tom Fitzgerald's working the phone right now to figure it out. And just because we haven't heard anything doesn't mean he's not working at it. He went early to San Jose to scout them out. I'm sure he's doing that with the Kraken and all these other teams that he's working with. Like that, when I mean working with, working the phones with. I believe that a move or two for the bottom 6 is coming. And especially with the news that we heard earlier today at the optional skate, which I will get into in just a minute, the time to make a move is very, very soon because this team needs help. But that doesn't mean that the top guys aren't at fault as well. The 2 guys that stand out the most to me are Jesper Bratt and Jack Hughes, 2 of the top guys on our team. Now, why is that? Because Jesper Bratt has not scored a goal in 8 straight games. That is not good. You need him to be productive. You need him to get consistent again. He needs to find the back of the net. Jack Hughes, 2 goals in his last 8 games. And he has not scored in 7 of his last 8 and is currently on a 4-game goalless streak of his own. So, again, the Devils' top guys, not all of them, but most of them, are not producing. And I know, look, you go back to the San Jose game, you can say what you want about Andre Palat. I don't blame him for the shot that ended up getting saved by Askarov with the open net. The pass, the puck was flying, the puck was bouncing. Palat's coming from a tough angle. It would have been really hard to get that puck to the open side, which was very far to his left. And of course, the shot ended up going right into Askarov's pad. So, yeah, you could get frustrated at Palat. He's still making contributions here or there. But at the same time, you got to find a way to put the puck in the back of the net. And even the top guys are not doing that right now. So the Devils are going through some swoons. They're going through some struggles. But every team goes through it, and they will be fine. They will get through it. They need to make some moves for sure, but they will be fine. And yes, the defense has been leaky over the last couple of games. I knew that the way that they were playing going into the break, that defensive play was not going to last. It just doesn't last. The NHL is too good for the Devils the entire year to average giving up only 11 to 12 shots. The reality is that the Devils were eventually going to come into some problems defensively because other teams were going to figure it out. And that's what we're seeing. So the Devils have to get back to having a structured system. Guys are pinching too much. They have to get back and play defensively. Once the top guys and once the forwards really start to click again, then the defense won't have to pinch as much, and then everything will be flowing again. And Paul Cotter said it best that this team is right there. They'll be fine. They'll be absolutely fine. There's no need to panic. And he knows it because he has some of the most experience on this team of getting all the way to winning a Stanley Cup with the Vegas Golden Knights 2 years ago. So again, the message is simple. It's not time to panic. We're fine. They will turn things around very soon. And by very soon, it could be by the time you're checking out this episode, whether that's today on January 6th or tomorrow on January 7th. We might wake up tomorrow and be like, all right, Devils got a good win against Seattle. Move on. That's the way you got to look at it. They are going to turn it around. And that's just what I wanted to finish on with talking about this road trip. So yeah, it sucks, but you still got 2 games left to salvage something here. I think it's time to start salvaging some stuff and get off to a good start this week. So I just wanted to get my thoughts on that. Before I go into my other 2 topics, I want to quickly do my ad read. So let's get into it by starting with our friends over at DraftKings. Playoffs? We're talking about playoffs? You bet we are. Get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the National Football League. Scoring touchdowns is key to winning in the playoffs, and you, yes, you, can score big by betting on them at DraftKings, the #1 place to bet touchdowns. Ready to place your first bet? Try betting on something like a player to score 6. Go to DraftKings Sportsbook app and make your pick. And look, we have the NFL wildcard round starting this week. There are so many opportunities to make really, really simple bets. Like I mentioned, you could bet on just somebody to score a touchdown, or you could even bet just who you think is going to win the game. There's some bets out there that I really like. Like, for instance, Chargers -2.5 on the road against the Houston Texans in that wildcard game. I think that's a pretty good bet on a 5th seed beating a 4th seed. And the same thing goes for the Vikings coming in 14-3, yet they're a wild card team having to go on the road against the Los Angeles Rams. And the Vikings are favored. I'm absolutely taking that for sure. And those are just 2 of many opportunities to cash in on huge money prizes. And if you want to get in on this action, new customers can bet just $5 to get $200 now in bonus bets instantly. All you have to do is download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN when you sign up. That's code THPN for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. And also shout out to our friends over at Game Time. And look, we're into the new calendar year, and you know that there's going to be a lot of exciting events. College football playoff. You have NFL playoffs, like I mentioned before. And of course, you got hockey games going on left and right. And the Four Nations face-off is a little over a month away. There's a lot going on. And Game Time is the best place to get the most bang for your buck on tickets to any sporting or ticketing event of your choosing. They have Game Time pick filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. I've used Game Time many times before, and I really, really love it. I love their instant deals where they give you only 15 minutes to make the decision whether you want to swipe on a deal for a really good seat for much less than the original price. I mean, it's great. I love the super deal. That's what it's called. It is the best thing out there, and you can customize however you want, to filter everything out. The curation for Game Time picks makes it easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, etc. with all-in pricing, the lowest price guaranteed. They also have great ticketing coverage as well, the best policy in there. And all you have to do to take the guesswork out of buying tickets with these Game Time picks is download the Game Time app right now, create an account, and use code THPN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code THPN for $20 off. All you have to do again is download the Game Time app today. What time is it? It's game time. So now we have a little bit of news to get to when talking about the Devils. First and foremost, 2 days ago, the Devils put, or yesterday, the Devils put defenseman Nick DeSimone on waivers. DeSimone hadn't played at all this year with the Devils. He played 11 games last year after being picked up off of waivers from Calgary to New Jersey. And yesterday, the Utah Hockey Club claimed him off of waivers. So Nick DeSimone, for the second time in his career, has been claimed off of waivers by an NHL team. So he finishes his short career, as mentioned, with 11 games played, getting just 1 goal and 2 points. And there were some, times I felt defensively last year where you know, he showed some good things, and I felt that going into this year, he'd be a good option for a seventh defenseman. But the Devils obviously made some moves for guys like Kovacevic and Pesci and Brendan Dillon. And with some of the young guys coming up in the system, I think it just made it much more difficult for Nick DeSimone to be around. So he goes to Utah, where he's probably going to get a lot more of an opportunity to play right away. So now they have two of the six Devils defensemen that we had last year, with the other one being John Marino, who, by the way, actually has started to skate at practice. Doesn't really have anything to do with the Devils, but I just felt like mentioning that. So yeah, Nick DeSimone is on his way to waivers. Now, here comes the bigger news. Erik Haula, he missed practice yesterday, and per Sheldon Keefe, will miss some time with an injury. That injury ended up being a right ankle sprain, or just an ankle sprain, and he will be out for several weeks. They haven't given a firm time date yet, but Amanda Stein earlier today, when they were speaking to Sheldon Keefe, Keefe did say he's going to be out for several weeks. So one of the bottom six guys who has been struggling a lot is now out of the lineup for a long period of time. Really be interesting to see if the Devils put him on LTIR or whatever the case may be. But I think this is going to end up forcing Tom Fitzgerald's hand a little bit more to get a little bit more aggressive at getting a bottom six help soon. They need a three centerman anyway. So I think this is as good a time as any. Justin Dowling will get into the lineup tonight and will be playing a lot more moving forward. I wanted to see Dowling play more anyway, so I'm glad that he'll get an opportunity, albeit it sucks because of an injury, but what are you going to do? And in 42 games played thus far, Erik Haula has 5 goals and 11 points. So obviously hasn't had the year that I'm sure he would want, and I'm sure he would have wanted to continue to try to help get this thing right, but he will be on the shelf for quite some time with that ankle sprain. So Devils dealing with a little bit of an injury. Hopefully, knock on wood, nothing else major happens moving forward. And we'll see again when and if the Devils will make a move or two to try to help that bottom six, especially with Erik Haula being out. So that's a little bit of Devils news. And, that's enough talking about the Devils. We will wrap this up by talking about the World Junior Championships. We will recap it as we just finished up last night. All the games were being played in Ottawa, the home of the Senators. And next year, the World Juniors will be in Minnesota. So that'll be exciting as the World Juniors moves to the United States. But speaking of the United States last night won their second consecutive gold medal, the first time in USA Hockey history that they've won back-to-back gold medals. Teddy Stiga, who is a Nashville Predators prospect, scored his first and only goal of the tournament in overtime to complete a 4-3 comeback win, as the United States was trailing in the second period 3-1 before they came back, tied the game up going into the third, and then ultimately won on that aforementioned Teddy Stiga overtime goal. And that is a phenomenal way, an exciting way to end the tournament. It was 3-on-3 overtime for 20 minutes. I think the NHL should maybe look into that. Maybe think about that going into the playoffs moving forward. That could be kind of fun. That could be kind of fun to have 3-on-3 overtime in the playoffs. Get a lot more drama, a lot more high action. I think it could be good. I think it could make the game even more exciting, especially Game 7 Stanley Cup playoffs goes down to that. I'd watch it. Honestly, I would. So yeah, with that win, USA gets the gold medal. They will look for a three-peat on American soil next year with the World Junior Championships, again, as mentioned, being held in Minnesota in 2026. Finland finishes with the silver medal. And then Devils prospect, as the Devils only had one this year, Devils prospect Herman Troff, who was a third round pick in 2024. He was part of Team Sweden. Him, along with Sweden, lost in an unreal 14 round shootout in the bronze medal game to Czechia. It took until the 28th or 29th shot of that shootout to finally decide a winner. So, United States, Finland, and Czechia are your three medal winners as Herman Tropp and Sweden finish in fourth place in this year's World Junior Championships. Tropp had a pretty decent tournament. He had 2 goals and 2 points in 7 games played for Sweden. But congratulations to the United States on getting their second consecutive gold medal. And I'm definitely hoping that they can find a way to get that third one next year. And this leads into the Four Nations face off because Brad Marchand even mentioned it. Now there's blood in the water. So now what happened in the World Junior Championships is going to transfer over now to the energy and excitement of the Four Nations face off coming up in a little over a month. So I'm really excited to see how these teams feel going into it. It's going to be a lot of fun. And even though the Devils have several guys playing in it, it's also good that there's going to be other main guys on the team that are going to get a rest. But we will get into that at a later time. But on that note, Devils fans, that's going to wrap it up for this edition of the Devils State of Mind podcast. As always, thank you again for taking time out of your day, out of your evening at this point to check out this episode and everything I do. I greatly appreciate it. Make sure to go over to our Instagram at Devil State of Mind to enter our Jesper Bratt autographed picture giveaway, courtesy of our friends over at Tom's River Brewing. Really go over there and follow the rules, and you have a chance to win that picture. And again, I'll leave a link to it in the description below as well. So make sure you do that. Follow us on all of our socials as mentioned before. And also give us a like here on YouTube. Subscribe and hit that notification bell so you get notified every time a new episode drops. And also make sure to give us a follow or subscribe over on Apple, Spotify, and everywhere you listen to podcasts. And if you happen to be on Apple or Spotify, do me a favor and drop a 5-star rating. It would really, really help the podcast tremendously. But again, thank you all for checking out this edition of the Devil State of Mind podcast, and we will see you in the next episode. Everyone, continue to be the awesome people that you are. And as I always say at the end of every episode, let's go, Devils.